The hit series Better Call Saul is entering the 6th season, and fans around the world are still in love with the groundbreaking series. For those of you who don't know, the show explores the trials and tribulations of criminal lawyer Jimmy McGill, played by actor Bob Odenkirk, in the time before he established his strip mall law office in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So stay tuned and don't go away, because today we're talking about Better Call Saul scenes that went way too far. First up, which scene in season 2 went too far? You're about to find out. In season 2 of Better Call Saul, Jimmy not only uses but embraces his ability to manipulate. Jimmy's actions and behaviors in season 2 were meant to force audiences to really wonder if Jimmy is truly the hero of the story or another villain. And there are plenty of moments where Jimmy's actions are questionable and even flat out wrong. His most unforgivable scene comes at the start of the episode titled Inflatable, which flashes back in time in order to show viewers one of the worst things that Jimmy ever did. The scene in question flashes back and shows Jimmy working in his father's convenience store. Jimmy is only a child in the flashbacks, which sees a con man enter the store and pretend he's having an emergency. The con man asks Jimmy's father for cash, but Jimmy sees through the con man's baloney immediately. Jimmy's father, Charles McGill Sr., played by actor Raphael Sparga, is the type of person who will help anyone in need no matter what and leaves to get spark plugs for the con artist. The man then uses the money Jimmy's father gave him to buy cigarettes. From this point on, Jimmy thinks that his father is a gullible dope who deserves to get ripped off, and it leaves a lasting impression on Jimmy. At the end of the scene, however, Jimmy pockets the cash instead of putting it into the cash drawer. Next up, what does the previous scene from season 2 reveal about Jimmy's true character? Let's dig a little deeper. After Jimmy watches his father get ripped off, he uses it as an opportunity to steal from his father, and that's despicable. But what makes the scene even worse is that Jimmy shows no remorse for his actions, and it shows us, the audience, see what's really in Jimmy's heart. It's clear that he resents his father for being scammed. There are multiple reasons why this flashback scene is so tough to watch, but the biggest reason is that it forces viewers to consider whether or not Jimmy's brother, Chuck McGill, played by Michael McKean, was right all along. Jimmy's father was forced to sell his business due to the store's poor revenue, and Chuck thinks it's because Jimmy had been stealing money from the store for years. It turns out Chuck's suspicions were correct. In the episode titled Slip, Jimmy recalls how gullible his father was and blames the store's failure on his father's frequent handouts and favors. Jimmy doesn't take responsibility for his role in the store's failure and essentially believes that his father got what he deserved by being so gullible and stupid. Jimmy seemingly believes that his father's compassion and willingness to help others is some sort of character defect and weakness. Up next, which scenes in season 5 went way too far? Let's take a look. Season 5 of Better Call Saul really takes audiences on an emotional roller coaster, more so than previous seasons. Earlier seasons of the spin-off series take a more subtle style compared to the more fast-paced style of Breaking Bad, but season 5 of Better Call Saul amps things up a lot. Lalo Salamanca, played by actor Tony Dalton, pushes Jimmy McGill and Kim Wexler, played by actor Rhea Seehorn, closer and closer to the cartel. Kim finds herself waist deep in the drug game by the end of the season and chooses to make herself known to Lalo after his arrest. At the same time, things get even dicier for almost every other character. Nacho, played by actor Michael Mondo, and Gus Fring, played by actor Giancarlo Esposito, set fire to a Los Pollos Hermanos location to preserve Nacho's mole status. The season ends with Lalo on the run, and everyone else thinks Fring's hit team succeeds in killing him. But one of the season's standout moments involves Jimmy traveling into the desert to pick up Lalo's $7 million in bail money from the intimidating Salamanca cousins. The cousins are extremely dangerous, but they're not the biggest threat to Jimmy. The desert is. Stay tuned and don't go away, because we're revealing some of the craziest moments in Better Call Saul. You do not want to miss this. Next up, which scene in season 5 episode Bagman went too far? You're about to find out. In season 5 episode Bagman, Jimmy and Mike, played by actor Jonathan Banks, are stranded in the desert after gunmen attempt to rob Jimmy of the $7 million in bail money he picks up for Lalo Salamanca. When their cars break down, they lose cell phone service and they're forced to survive in the desert with barely any supplies. And the situation becomes so desperate that Jimmy is forced to drink his own urine. It's not the first time a movie or TV show has employed such tactics, but watching a character drink their urine never gets easier for viewers. That particular episode wasn't just rough on the actors playing the characters, but it was rough on the entire crew and resulted in an 18-day long shoot to film the episode instead of the series' typical 9-day time frame. The episode demanded a lot of the actors, but in case you were wondering, no, Bob Odenkirk did not use his own urine for the yellow liquid in the scene. The tough filming conditions led to a dark scene with some gritty realism, although at least for some Better Call Saul fans, the scene went too far. What do you think? Was the scene too hot for network cable TV? Up next, what did Bob Odenkirk reveal about the upcoming season of Better Call Saul? Let's take a look. Odenkirk received his 4th Golden Globe nomination for his lead role in the Breaking Bad spin-off. Odenkirk found out about his nomination while walking his dog and revealed that season 6 will start filming in March. Odenkirk also told fans they can expect some explosive final episodes. Odenkirk said, "I can't wait for the fireworks, really. Our show is a bit of a slow burn over the past few years. There's certainly exciting moments throughout, but toward the end, it gets super supremely intense. However, there have definitely been some intense scenes throughout the series as well. For instance, in season 3's episode titled Chicanery, in the episode, Chuck and his brother Jimmy's relationship comes to a head. Actor Michael McKean, who plays Chuck, wows viewers with an incredible performance that makes Chuck totally despicable, yet somewhat sympathetic at the same time. Chuck's mental condition is quickly deteriorating, and his jealousy and resentment toward his brother become clear. In the tense courtroom blow-up, Chuck is reduced to rubble. Better Call Saul captivates audiences by showcasing two brothers destroying their relationship. There's no need for cheap thrills like big Hollywood explosions or high-tech gadgetry in this show. It's all about the story, which is the most important aspect of any hit film or TV show. Next up, who can forget Gene and the cab driver in season 4, episode 1? Let's take a look. The first episode of season 4, titled Smoke, takes place in the wake of Chuck's death. As Jimmy tries to ignore his complicated feelings over his brother's passing, Gene, Jimmy's new alter ego, lives and works in Omaha, Nebraska, and tries to fly under the radar and hide from the consequences of his criminal past. The time spent with Gene is the best part of the season premiere. Nearly every season starts with a Gene check-in, but season 4 begins with a moment that almost scares Jimmy into abandoning his life in Omaha and getting back into life. Jimmy has a close call at a hospital after a fainting spell, and when a nurse handles his registration, she says that his social security number is incorrect. Jimmy's about to blow a gasket, and the nurse reveals she typed his information into the computer incorrectly. This gets a huge sigh of relief from Gene, and the second encounter isn't as harmless. When Gene is picked up at the hospital by a cab, he notices the cab driver staring at him, and it makes him uncomfortable. Gene notices the cab driver has an Albuquerque-esque air freshener hanging from his rearview mirror and is worried that he's going to be recognized. It's not a very significant moment in terms of storyline or plot, but it's a clear example of how the series is able to build a lot of tension in some of the simplest ways. This is indicative of serious skill behind the camera. Finally, what's one of the most memorable moments from season 4? Let's find out. In season 4's episode 10, titled Winner, Mike kills Werner. Most of Mike's season 4 storyline revolves around him watching over the German team that builds Gus Fring's super lab, the same lab that Walter White used to perfect his meth cooks. After Werner escapes the underground facility, after specifically being forbidden to do so, Gus orders Mike to kill Werner. Mike then has to find Werner before Lalo does because Gus doesn't want Lalo to learn of his plans. Miles succeeds in tracking down Werner and kills him stone cold dead. That's a wrap for today's video. Thanks for watching.